Okay, so hello everyone, welcome, and thanks for joining today's session on creating budget-friendly marketing strategies. I'm Elaine Tibbetts, and I'm going to talk to you about how you can market your business effectively without overspending or feeling overwhelmed by money trickling out for marketing when you don't necessarily have to. So the session is all about being realistic, understanding what you can afford, and where you can make the best choices to spend your money, and how to make every pound, euro, wherever you are in the world, dollar, work harder for you. So a little bit about me to begin with. So I've been in marketing now for over 25 years. I've worked for two FTSE 100 companies and a charity supporting international brands before I actually started working for myself and set up my own business. And I work with small, medium sized businesses, and micro businesses to help them with their marketing, bringing in all that experience I've got from my 25 years to help them drive their businesses forward, but without having large budgets. If in some cases the businesses I work with have no budget. So it's how do we optimize things and make things more effective. So this is what I'm going to cover today in like about 25 minutes. So I do move through quickly, which is another reason I record the session. So you can go back and re-listen if you want to. So a marketing budget, and it's important to understand a realistic marketing budget, because let's be honest, most businesses these days don't have millions or thousands of pounds to chuck after marketing. You're lucky if you get like a few £100 in some businesses. So why is it important? So it's important to think that marketing budget isn't just a number, it's actually a strategy. Marketing should also, in most businesses, well, in any business, be seen as an investment, not an expense. And that's something that I think most businesses kind of go, but it's just another expense. It's not, it's an investment in your pipeline and driving your growth forward. So, one of the biggest mistakes businesses make is either not budgeting for marketing at all, or spending money reactively with no clear plan and no analysis. If you have a realistic marketing budget that follows a marketing plan, it helps you stay consistent, avoid panic spending, and make smarter decisions that align with your goals and cash flow. Because every business needs to make sure it's got enough cash flow flowing through the business. Now, in my experience, what I found over the years is you create a lovely marketing plan. It's got the aspirations of having a yacht. And then you look at that marketing budget that you've got to deliver this beautiful yacht, and it's about enough to buy an iron at the end of the day. But the return on investment that businesses or people expect you to deliver is that of a cruise ship. So it's completely unrealistic what the plan is against the return on investment for the level of marketing budget being invested. So it's really about setting those expectations, that creating a marketing plan that is realistic, so the budget can be realistic, and then the return is also marginalized and not overly ambitious, because otherwise you get into the point where you kind of feel a bit disillusioned that things aren't happening. So the first thing to do before you spend anything on marketing is you need to have a clear picture of your financial situation. Ask yourself, what can my business realistically afford each month or each quarter? It's important that you distinguish between fixed costs and flexible costs. So a fixed cost in marketing would be something such as website hosting, maybe an email platform if you have email funnels set up. And flexible costs are more things that you have more control over. So if you wanted to do like Facebook boost or content creation, they would be classed as fixed marketing costs. Flexible marketing costs. Get my fixed and my flexible right today. Your fixed costs are really those things that you can't be doing without, and you can't really turn them off. So you can't turn your website off because that's your shop front. If you had, let me think, if you were already sending out and you had a good following of regular email newsletters or email marketing going out, then again, I would say that's probably sits more in a little bit of a fixed cost. Whereas if you're doing some advertising in publications or digital advertising, that's something you can turn on and off, like pay-per-click, any social marketing advertising that you pay for. The key thing to remember is that marketing should support the business, not put a strain on it. So it shouldn't be that your marketing budget should be pushing so hard that it's got to drive you a return at the end of the day, but it shouldn't be putting too much of a financial strain on your business. There's things you can do within marketing to allow growth and return without expenditure. So the sort of what I believe you should include in your budget, and this is one I'll be honest, the numbers are fictitious. So this is not a client's budget, it's not my own budget, but to give you an idea, advertising, so that could be digital advertising or it could be print media-based advertising. Content generation, so where you might go out, ask somebody to film you some content. Maybe somebody's going to film you if you've got like a property, somebody's going to film you a lovely video that you can put on your website. That would all sit as content generation. PR, design, if you don't do your own design, like Canva's very accessible tool to use. Some people, like I've had a client recently, brand new client into the market, needed a logo. I actually, for logos and bigger piece of graphic design work, I use a graphic designer. I don't create them myself. Whilst I can do social media assets and smaller pieces, I don't actually create bigger, like pull up banners and things like that, because I don't have the skill set to do that. So you might need design, digital, so that could be any social media based advertise, promotion, pay-per-click or search engine marketing might sit in there. Any events you might do or networking. So I would always put networking as a marketing cost, because you are going to a networking meeting to market your business ultimately as you build those connections and collaborations. Website and content relationship manager tool, that also sits there, and your time, or if you do use an external marketer, their time, that should sit within that amount, and you should look at then what return that all drives back on you, or drives back for your business. So some of the clients I work with, I drive them a return back on their business of 4 or 5 to the pound that they, in terms of business relationship, it's a 4-to-1 or 5-to-1 return that they get back, which includes my time and any then marketing spend that we agree that we're going to do for their business. But majority of the time, we're not spending on anything other than my time. So how to prioritize your key marketing channels. The important thing here is to remember you don't need to be everywhere. You just need to be where your target audience is. So if your target audience is on, say, like I say Facebook a lot, but Instagram, or more predominantly maybe these days TikTok. So the biggest growing market on TikTok are people between the ages of 45 and 65. Now, they're not going on posting content necessarily in reels and funky videos, but they're watching, and they're the biggest growing market for TikTok, but only from a voyeur perspective, not from a creating content perspective. But if they're your audience, then that might be something you need to consider, that you need to be there. So understand where they are. If you're primarily a B2B based business, a bit like myself, then LinkedIn would be more the channel that would suit you better, depending on what level business and who you're going after. So high impact, cost effective marketing channels. So look at, if you are already marketing, sometimes it's good to take a line in the sand and just go, do you know what? I'm just going to look at what's happening. I'm going to look at all the analytics across everything that I'm doing, and I'm going to take a view and go, is that working? Is it driving me any return back into the business? If it's not, and it's taking lots of time, then you need to think about stopping it, because there's no point doing things if it's not driving a return back. So think about where you are, what you want to do. Stop, start, continue is always the mantra I go by. If it's working, great, continue it. If you have a new idea and you think it's going to work, start it, test it. If it doesn't work, stop it. And that's the best way to keep a hold on what's happening. But you need to analyze it to make sure you know what is going on. So don't spend your budget thin across multiple platforms. Look at those ones that are really driving, and then look at where you can increase, and increase marginally, so you can see where you get to your optimum level before you go over and it's not really driving you anything. And then digital versus traditional marketing. Where should you invest based on budget? Now, traditional marketing is making a bit of a comeback with the good old print based content, because people, I think, are a little bit fed up with digital and being bombarded all the time. So yeah, some print things are making a comeback. So it's always worth bearing that in mind on where to invest. But it is, as I said, the prioritization is, where is your audience? What's your goals? And go where your audience is. Know who your audience is. Well, so some low cost free marketing strategies you can do. So there's many marketing strategies that cost little or nothing. You've got your organic social media, which is really driving organic growth tactics. So that's where, if you're used to social, this is easy. If you're not, and it's a bit like, oh no. So it's not just posting out on your own channel, it's following other people, it's liking other things, making comments on other things that's relevant and supports your business values. And that way, that all starts to grow your organic growth. Look at content marketing, so blogs, email newsletters, video marketing, anything where you can create things that you can then talk about through other channels. So if you create a blog or a thought leadership piece, then you can promote that through whatever channels that you're talking, that you're using for your business. So for example, I've just written for my business a white paper on generative engine optimization, which is the new AI search that's all coming in. Small businesses still aren't really geared up on this at the minute. So I've written a paper that's I'm hoping it's jargon free, but it talks about the difference between search engine optimization and generative engine optimization, and then what they can put in place in their businesses to kind of be at the not left behind as the GEO really takes off. And at the moment, SEMrush are estimating that by 2028, which is only a year and a bit away, AI search will be the leading search, if not the only search that people will be using. Google already uses 42% of its search through. Yes, I can share it. Yes, Louise. Google already uses 42% of its search through AI search. So when you're searching, it's already doing that in the background on 42% of searches. So it is a new upcoming thing. So things like that, think about how you could get out into the market about. Leverage any partnerships, collaborations, any referrals. So if people are wanting to connect with you and they're in a similar kind of place as you, they could be a good connection. They could be a good collaborator to have. Again, partnerships. I collaborate with a business coach, so we feed each other clients. So think about, don't just think in my channel, my audience, think about, you don't know who else might know somebody who would be your audience if you're going out networking. So look at those as well. This is a good way of getting referrals in. So clients can also refer back to you and refer you to other people that they might work with. And then user generated content and community engagement. So that's really, if people are asking questions on your social media channels, make sure you're answering them and you're being timely in responses. And just remember, you don't need a big budget to make a big impact in your marketing. Oh. So maximize your marketing impact, create quality content on a budget. So I'd say on a budget, I just progressed to the new iPhone 17 Pro Max so I can film better content for my clients. But you don't have to do that. Most cameras on my mobile smartphones these days are of a really good quality. So you haven't got to go out and spend a lot of money to do content. Look at repurposing your content for different platforms. So is there a way that you could use that content in a different way in a different platform? So it does vary. And then look at free and affordable tools. Now, I've done a lot on some of this and looking and cost checking. And for small businesses, these are the ones that I find are the best. So Canva for design. If you're looking for video, Canva or CapCut, they both have free versions. You can go up to the paid for version. I don't get any commission from any of these for talking about them. I'll just point that out. I would say from a CRM perspective, Zoho is more affordable. You can get a bolt-on on that for the marketing side. MailChimp's another email tool you can use. Personally, I find Zoho better, but it is personal preference. And then remember that if you've not already got one, put your business on Google Business Profile, because that helps with the search engines and it helps with the optimization through search engines. And it's also free, so why wouldn't you? But you can also post updates. So if you're doing social media updates and posts, you can put those, and not a lot of people know this, you can put those on your Google Business Profile and post them as an update. So that way, Google, when it's doing its algorithms, and still there are 32 billion searches on Google a day. There's 4.5 billion, I think, on AI at the moment. So it is a strong platform to be posting, and the algorithms will search that, and Google is probably more at the forefront of any other search engine at the moment in terms of its AI capability. And then measure your success on a budget. So look at key marketing metrics to track. So this might be I don't know, engagement, website traffic, leads, or conversions. Now, you don't need expensive software to do this. Google Analytics is free, and you can just sync your website in and get really good, strong analytics from that. You can also get social media insights from any social media platform. If you use the scheduling tool, most of those provide analytics as well. So look at conversions, leads, traffic, see if it's increasing, if it's not. So I had an incident recently where I noticed my web traffic was being a bit weird, and all of a sudden my engagement rate had dropped. And then when I started to delve into it, what I noticed was I was getting an awful lot of traffic from China and India. So what was happening was basically it was bot searching. So that's what pulled my engagement rates right down, because I was getting it was weirdly driving lots of bots to my site, and it was just pinging off. So I've been working hard in the background to solve that issue. But I wouldn't know that if I wasn't tracking my analytics every month and looking and going, well, why is that now dropped? That's dropped significantly. So yeah, make sure you keep an eye on that and adjust your strategy based on your data. So if something isn't working, then adjust your marketing plan and move forward. Avoid common pitfalls such as over-investing in low return on investment strategies. So if things aren't, and I've said this most of the way through, if it's not driving you a return, look to stop it or pull it back. Don't go chasing trends that don't fit with your brand values, or are where your audience sits, because it's just almost you're wasting your energy moving everything there. And fail to measure and optimize campaigns. So if you're not measuring results, you're guessing, and guessing can get expensive. Marketing budgets can spiral very quickly. I would say if you're doing any paid advertising, you put in a budget for the period rather than have a day budget, or because a day budget, if you kind of get caught up and you don't think about it for a few weeks, that could quickly build up. So just make sure that you're staying focused on your budget. And where am I? Yeah, and stay focused, and being intentional protects your budget and your brand as well. So what I would say is your next steps to do from today, which now I've talked quickly for 20 minutes, is I'd encourage you to look at your marketing plan, create one, and review your current marketing spend. Look at what costs you're spending for marketing and where you can reallocate them. And then allocate your budget accordingly. So I'm just going to finish there. I'm going to stop the recording because I know there's some questions come in, and then I'll answer the questions. So thank you for listening. I hope this session, as whirlwind as it's been, has helped you feel more confident about marketing on a budget. So